Mardi Gras is supposed to be chaos in a fun way. Music everywhere, people dancing in the streets, and the city of New Orleans completely alive. But just after midnight, that energy took a sharp turn. Because Shia LaBeouf wasn't celebrating anymore. He was being treated by paramedics, and moments later, taken into custody. According to reports, an alleged altercation outside a French Quarter bar ended with the actor facing multiple charges. A shirtless Shia flashing across viral footage instantly sent shockwaves online. And almost immediately, one question started trending everywhere. How did a night of celebration spiral into another arrest? Because for those who followed his career closely, this didn't feel like a random incident. It felt familiar. And once you look deeper into his past, this Mardi Gras moment starts to feel less like a surprise and more like the next chapter in a story that never fully ended. The incident unfolded in the heart of New Orleans' French Quarter, just after midnight, when the streets were still packed with Mardi Gras energy. Crowds were spilling out of bars, music echoing off every corner, and the night felt endless. That's when things reportedly took a turn involving Shia LaBeouf. According to law enforcement sources, an alleged altercation broke out outside a bar, though what actually triggered it remains unclear. No official details have explained who was involved or how the situation escalated so quickly. What is clear is how fast the moment went public. Video footage later obtained by TMZ showed Shia shirtless, surrounded by paramedics, receiving medical attention right there on the street. The images spread almost instantly, and speculation followed just as fast. Fans online began questioning whether this was a minor scuffle or something more serious, especially given the timing and location. Mardi Gras is known for wild moments, but arrests involving A-list actors are a different story. And as the footage kept circulating, one thing became obvious. This wasn't just about a chaotic night in New Orleans. What happened next would pull Shia back into a spotlight he's tried to escape before. Not long after the incident, the situation moved from street chaos to official action. Authorities confirmed that Shia LaBeouf was taken into custody and later booked on 2 counts of simple battery. The charges were quickly confirmed by multiple law enforcement sources, turning what looked like a messy night into a serious legal problem. Simple battery might sound minor on paper, but it still carries real consequences. 2 separate counts suggest more than one alleged victim was involved, adding weight to the case. Officials also confirmed that LaBeouf is scheduled to appear in court Tuesday afternoon, meaning this story is far from over. What made the arrest hit even harder was how sudden it felt. One minute, he's part of one of the biggest celebrations in the country. The next, he's facing a judge. No official statements from his team followed, and without clear details on what sparked the altercation, the internet rushed to fill in the blanks. But for longtime followers of LaBeouf's story, the arrest itself wasn't the most shocking part. The real question was whether this moment fit into a much larger pattern, one that's followed him for years and refuses to stay buried. What made this arrest hit even harder was the timing. In recent years, Shia LaBeouf has spoken openly about getting sober and trying to rebuild his life away from constant chaos. He's talked about treatment, reflection, and taking responsibility for his past. For some fans, it felt like he was finally on a different path. That's why seeing his name tied to another late-night incident instantly raised eyebrows. Reports confirmed he had been in New Orleans for several days enjoying Mardi Gras festivities, but officials haven't stated whether substances played any role in the alleged altercation. Still, that didn't stop speculation from spreading online. Some fans rushed to defend him, saying a fight doesn't automatically mean a relapse. Others weren't so convinced, pointing out how closely this moment mirrors past episodes. Social media quickly filled with comments questioning whether sobriety was still intact or if the pressure of public life had pulled him back into old patterns. And while no facts confirm either side, the uncertainty itself became the story. Because when someone spends years trying to outrun their past, even one blurry night can reopen every old wound.
And that's exactly when LaBeouf's history came rushing back into the conversation.
For many people watching this unfold, the shock wasn't the arrest itself, it was how familiar it felt. Shia LaBeouf has a long, highly publicized history of run-ins with the law, and each new incident seems to reopen a timeline fans know all too well. Back in 2017, he was arrested in Georgia on charges tied to public intoxication and disorderly conduct. That situation ended with court-mandated treatment, and at the time it was framed as a turning point, a moment where things had finally gone far enough to force real change. But years later, moments like the Mardi Gras arrest make people question how much actually changed. Online discussions quickly resurfaced old headlines, old mugshots, and old debates about accountability versus personal struggle. Some reports claim this is just another example of unresolved issues bubbling back to the surface. Others argue it's unfair to connect separate incidents without full context. Still, patterns are hard to ignore. When the same type of chaos keeps reappearing, even after therapy and public apologies, people start asking uncomfortable questions. And as that conversation picked up steam, attention shifted to one of the most damaging chapters of his past, one that nearly derailed his career for good. One of the most significant chapters in Shia LaBeouf's recent past isn't a bar fight or a late-night arrest. It's the lawsuit filed by musician FKA Twigs back in December 2020. She accused him of sexual battery, assault, and emotional distress, creating one of the most publicized legal battles of his career. The allegations were serious, and the case dominated headlines for months. LaBeouf consistently denied the claims, and in July 2025, the matter was settled outside court. Still, the lawsuit left a lasting mark on his public image. Fans and critics debated endlessly. Was this a pattern of behavior or an isolated and misunderstood incident? Even after the settlement, whispers and speculation lingered. Some believed it signaled a warning sign about underlying issues, while others argued it's a closed chapter that shouldn't define him. And now, with another arrest hitting the headlines, that old story seems to have resurfaced in the collective consciousness of fans and media alike. The timing couldn't feel more striking. As Mardi Gras chaos and court dates collide, the shadow of past controversies adds a layer of tension, making people wonder, is LaBeouf caught in a cycle that even he can't fully escape? Or is the world simply waiting for him to find a moment of real redemption?
Amid all the headlines and legal troubles, there's another side to Shia LaBeouf's life that rarely makes the news: his role as a father. He shares a daughter with actress Mia Goth, and their on-and-off relationship has been a roller coaster since 2012. Balancing fame, personal struggles, and parenthood is never easy, and for LaBeouf, it seems especially complicated. Fans have often speculated whether fatherhood might ground him, offering a sense of responsibility that could steer him away from past chaos. Yet moments like the Mardi Gras arrest raise the question of how much pressure he's under, and whether the public eye makes it harder for him to find stability. Even with a child in the picture, personal challenges don't just disappear. Rumors suggest that navigating fame, past controversies, and private relationships can create tension that sometimes spills into public incidents. LaBeouf's story is a reminder that for some celebrities, life off-screen can be just as intense and unpredictable as anything on it. And as we consider this latest arrest, it's hard not to wonder, is this another stumble along a turbulent path, or a sign that deeper issues remain unresolved, waiting for the next headline to bring them back into focus? The Mardi Gras arrest might seem like just another headline in Shia LaBeouf's turbulent life, but when you step back, it feels like part of a larger story that's been unfolding for years. From past arrests and public controversies to high-profile lawsuits and personal struggles, his journey has rarely been quiet or simple. Some fans see this as a continuation of a familiar pattern, while others hope it could mark a turning point, a moment where accountability and reflection finally lead to change. Either way, it raises questions about the pressure of fame, the challenges of personal growth under constant scrutiny, and the thin line between redemption and relapse. As LaBeouf heads to court, the world watches closely, waiting to see whether this is just another headline or the start of a new chapter? And while the answers aren't clear yet, one thing is certain. His story continues to captivate, shock, and spark conversation, proving that for some lives, the drama never truly ends.